everyone. Welcome to SVG Sports Tech On Demand. Ken Kirschbaumer here. I'm here with Andreas Eriksson, the head of Broadcast Services for Telstra. He is halfway around the world, and he is in tomorrow morning, I believe. Andreas, how are you doing? How are things in Australia?
Yeah, we're well. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for having us and having me. It's pretty pretty good in Australia actually. As I think many people know, we're sort of life is almost as normal here, which is clearly not quite the case around the world. So yeah, pretty nice and crisp morning here in Sydney.
Excellent, great. Well, I appreciate you taking some time to talk to us. So obviously, Telstra, the amazing thing is, there was a time when you and I would talk, and we'd be focused purely on Australia and Asia, but Telstra has become a global force. So as the broadband connectivity and the big pipes and the mega pipes have kind of spanned the globe. So give us kind of an update on where Telstra is at as far as global strategy in connectivity and signal distribution and what have you.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. Yeah, I mean, a couple of things we've been working on. If we start with the core of the global strategy, clearly we're a telco and building out the media networks business has been for many years sort of the logical start. I think what we have seen as you talk about this global expansion, we've been having quite sort of Australia centric from the beginning, but then over the last sort of 5-6 years been building out quite aggressively internationally in terms of our media networks. One of the core requirements we've seen from our customers around the world has been they want us to have expand and have centers regionally in the different regions we operate around the world. So within Asia and in Europe and so on, and US and so forth. So in the different regions. So that's something we have been working on to implement. So as part of TBS, we now have a center up in Hong Kong for our a broadcast operations center there. We're looking at the options for us to establish one in Europe and the US as well at the moment. So I think that's quite going to be quite important for us in terms of kind of managing and monitoring and doing it sort of 24/7 operations for permanent cell style networks, but also for events. I think the big trend we see as well, especially now, still in COVID times, is that remote operations is quite important. You do operation from a site or from a center, opposed to being on site more and more for events. So I think we will see that growing and becoming more important. That having a center we can actually operate, and we're actually doing that already, operating events from a center, which is very exciting. So yeah, more to come, but that's kind of that's been the one of the core pillars of our plan.
So as far as those facilities, then what are they looking for? Because it used to be they would just want a pipe, right? They would just say, hey, just give me a pipe. I got the rest of it. Are they asking for a different level of service? They want your personnel to be involved with signal quality management and test and measurement, those kind of things, and taking to that level, commercial insertion, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, I think that's very clear, because I think what we are seeing, the requirements from the media customer is that they don't want to run and manage their own networks and their own media networks. They need to do more and more with limited resources. So they want an outsourced provider to do all that. So I think this whole managed services layer in terms of the tools and the operational skills in people and this sort of 24/7 operations and service assurance is going to be even more important. And I think if we look at what's happening and with if we talk about the pipes, what's happening with the pipes? Well, clearly it used to be leased lines and so forth from a fiber point of view. It used to be satellite, so that was a hybrid already. But now one big trend we've been seeing and where we've been doing a lot of work in terms of strengthening our capabilities has been on the internet-based delivery, leveraging sort of public internet effectively for delivering live video. And that's something, again, you need to run then that as a managed service, not just sort of connecting into the public internet and it comes out somewhere. You need that end-to-end service assurance anyhow. Right. And clearly when you have, it's going to be a combination, not just internet and traditional fiber and satellite, going to be all of them in a combination. So I think that's why it's ever more important to establish centers to grow that managed service capability around the world for us. That's why that's been a very critical component of the implementation.
Gotcha. So where does this cloud thing fit in with your services? Because in the old days, like for example, if I'm here in New York and it's Australian Open, for example, my brain, I'm thinking in terms of I got a big pipe going from Australia, from Melbourne up to here in New York or Bristol, I guess obviously ESPN. But with the cloud, I'm not thinking in terms of vast miles. I'm thinking of times it gets up in the cloud and then I kind of access it from anywhere. So how does the cloud kind of change your business opportunities, your value proposition, and how do you kind of get ready for it?
Yeah, I think we've been quite active working with the public cloud providers, and are working with a number of media customers to leverage the cloud, and it comes probably in a couple of different forms, if you like. Probably in very simple terms, two ways. So one is that clearly you can use the public cloud providers and run live video over them. So that's one use case we've seen, and one situation we work with. And it's really, you can look at it almost like the public cloud provider become a platform. We're getting, again, they're a platform as a satellite platform, as another sort of technology platform. Again, very similar to internet and other things. You need the managed services layer on top of it for the media industry. Everything that there is speed, or responsiveness, and all the things that if something doesn't work or goes wrong, or you can have someone to call and you can get on and fix the problem fast. So I think for us, it's just another platform. It's another opportunity for us to provide new services together with the public cloud providers, which we're already doing. So that's quite an exciting opportunity for us. Again, the managed services layer continues to be very critical. That's kind of on the media network side, if you're like running live video. But then the other thing, which is very exciting and part of what we're executing now, is really broaden our offering. Historically, we've been very media network centric, with all these different use cases being, events and sporting leagues and all the things we are doing. But now we're seeing an opportunity to grow that, and cloud will be part of that, because we're seeing opportunities for us to grow into storage and archive and coding and other sort of smart, either standalone opportunities or value adds on top of the media network, because all the content's already sitting on our network effectively, right? So for us, it's a great opportunity then to actually do something more with it. So that's a good opportunity we see. So that's just a flavor of the public cloud, but overall exciting to be working with many of these public cloud providers, and we see more coming there. And we started to train our people as Telstra. Actually, we're training 4,000 people. Wow. On the public cloud providers, and that's clearly not just all in media, but deep domain expertise in different parts of the public cloud ecosystem.
Right. So tell me a little bit about this Telstra Purple that I see in my notes here.
Yeah.
What's this all about?
Yeah. So Telstra Purple is sort of an exciting opportunity for us to bring two different entities together in a partnership and some core value proposition within Telstra. So Telstra Purple is Telstra's division for professional services and managed services. And what they have is around 1,000 people, which are deep domain expertise in again a cloud application and digital application development, as an example, and also other kind of domain expertise. And for us, it's an exciting opportunity to work together with them and bring that capability out into the global media industry. So that very much plays into kind of what I'm talking about, expanding outside our traditional media networks core and actually be broadening our offering, because together with them, we're actually now doing things like, archive solution, exploring how we can, build digital experience for fan experience and so forth. So I think we'll see more to come there. It's sort of a new area for us, and we've been working together with them for the last sort of 18 months, but quite exciting in terms of when you marry up a very deep domain expertise together with a media industry lens and try to sort of marry those things up. It's been quite an exciting discussions we've been having with customers at the moment. So yeah,
that's great, excellent. So last question for you. As far as it's interesting when you look at your managed services, the Telstra Purple. What it reminds me of is that we're in an age where production. Well, first of all, people can more easily spin up the production side of things, right, with cameras and stuff, but they can also get themselves in trouble, right? So that's where they kind of all of a sudden need your help and need managed services. That's sort of, so do you think there's gonna be an explosion of even more content creation? Because in the old days, you and I would have to hire people. We have to know what we're doing. Nowadays, you can really kind of turn the key, turn it over to you guys. You guys can kind of do a lot of the heavy lifting for me, and I can just make the financial investment. Is that what's going to happen, you think, in the future, that we're going to see a lot more production going on across the board?
I think so. I think certainly we've seen that, if you look at some of the, sort of T2, T3 sort of sport and so forth, I think, that kind of production where historically haven't really been possible to produce because it hasn't been affordable enough. So I think now with new solutions and new operating model and so forth, that's now starting. I mean, we're already happening, as we know. So I think now we see actually a trend that there's more and more sports being produced, and then it's clearly different in different parts of the world, but I think definitely we will see more of that. And I think also just by different ways to reach the audience as well and so forth. And if you have a internet-based delivery to do some of the contribution for something which is sort of maybe in a way less critical necessarily, you're trying to work with that budget you have. So absolutely, I think that's going to be an ongoing, already kind of happening, and I think will be an ongoing trend, which is quite exciting for all the sports fans around the world, because they can get access to much more content. And they can actually, I guess you can view in future, you can actually get access to your almost your local league and so forth. I think it's a very exciting future in terms of really bringing more sports to the sporting fans around the world. So I think it's quite an exciting future.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Andreas. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Hope to see you later this year.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks for having me, Ken. Appreciate it.